Hey everyone, we have another exciting scaling brokerage community podcast today. We have a special guest, Michael, on the line. Michael, go ahead and give an introduction and a little background about yourself.
Howdy, and thanks for having me. I really appreciate this. And my name is Mike Cassetta. I'm an owner broker in Austin, Texas, with the Remax Gateway franchise. Been working in the business since 2005 and been a broker running things since 2011.
So you've been a broker owner for 13 years.
Yes, and part of the same franchise. I helped create and found the franchise back in 2007 is when we kind of took it over, and the market crashed as well.
Yeah, I remember those days. So you're going to have some good background, some good advice, and that's what we're out here for. So give us a little background. Okay, so along the way, I'm sure you've had to navigate challenges. Tell us about one of your biggest challenges and how you worked around it.
Well, Jason, I've got to say the biggest challenge that we've had to date would have to be that 2007 to 2011 timeframe, that crash, because that was in our infancy stage when we had just started the bringing on agents, and the market was hot. The models behind how we got business were very easy, similar to the 2018, 2019, 2020 timeframe, and having that crash was kind of a complete game changer, a reset for everything. Had to rethink through everything, how we're going to hold on to our agents and keep our franchise alive, really.
So I'm sure you guys moved into the short sale space. Did you guys?
We did the REO and short sale space, certified distressed properties, all of those things. Jason, I'm sure you've heard pretty much everyone at that time. That was the only avenue to go to.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to marketing and lead gen. Tell us about how you market your business and what you found successful, and whether you do paid ads or however you market. What's your little secret sauce?
So, Jason, I gotta tell you, our model, we keep our brokerage relatively small, and that's for a couple kind of primary reasons. And so, without getting off on a tangent, the marketing we do is mostly a solid just presence in the community and a solid reputation. So we have a Remax franchise. We've got to keep a kind of a minimum agent count, and also we're producers ourselves, and that is me and my father and partner, who's out in the Canyon Lake area, and we are investors. So we have several investment properties. Lots of agents and brokers are producers and have investing, and so we like to keep just a solid reputation. And then when we have an agent that falls off or retires or gets plucked, we've got a kind of a line of other agents that have known us that we've already been talking to, and we can kind of bring them on at our choice. So it's not really, hey, we want to take on a bunch of new agents. It's more like we've got our set amount and we develop a line of or a list of folks that we're willing to take on. And then when the time happens, it's kind of an easy fit.
It's kind of like in sports, next man up, right?
Yes, that's right. Next man up. Exactly.
So important question I'm sure all of our viewers want to know is Cowboys or Texans fan?
Oh, that's so tough. I grew up playing high school football, and the Oilers were my team. And then when my freshman year of high school football, we lost the Oilers. So, my prime years, 4 years of high school football, I had no team in Houston. And so I became a Cowboys fan. Romo was on the scene, and they had just come off, the 90s wins, and Cowboys were America's team. So I became a Cowboys fan. And then we got the Texans, kind of when I was starting into college, and I couldn't really just give up the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I had to bring on the Texans and the Cowboys. Luckily, I live in Austin. So as long as I'm a Longhorn fan, then it's okay. But I'm both. But when they play, I find myself rooting for the offense. That's what it is.
Well, it's funny you bring up Texas because I'm from Arizona and I'm an ASU fan. That was a great game, though.
That you guys, I thought we lost it. I thought we were going to give it away.
What's crazy is we were watching it here. The TV didn't even come fully on, and the tight end was running the ball in the end zone. We're like, what's going on here? Is this like a replay or something? And then we're like, oh my God, they just scored. So, but I was just glad ASU made it there, and that was a good game that wasn't a blowout like the other games.
I thought thought it was going to be a blowout, but you guys really played well. Props to you guys for making it there and putting up an amazing fight. I mean, you guys took the double overtime. I mean,
Scatterboo, man. You guys are a beast. All right. So back to business. Sorry, we got on a tangent there, everybody. Let's talk about agent attraction. You talked a little bit about it. You said that you next man up, but how do you go about attracting those agents? Are you guys out there, or do people just, like you said, people know who you are, but let's say a new agent comes and like, what do you tell them? What's your little pitch? What's your
so our value kind of prop is one, we really don't like new agents, and because we're not good trainers.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we like to meet and introduce other agents to ourselves through the transaction side of things. So when we have a successful, really big transaction, and the other agent, may reach out to us, or we'll reach out to them and start that dialogue at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then our kind of pitch is, one, we are huge on the brand. That's something we don't want to rebuild the wheel, reinvent, I guess is the saying. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. And so we lean on the brand and the marketing power that it has, the technology that RE/MAX brings, the education across all fronts, and the global awareness. So the brand is kind of one of the main things that we have. And then the flexible fee system. So that's another thing that we love is we're not a MLM brokerage, right? We're not EXP, and not that there's anything wrong with any of those, and I'm not going to mention any if I'm supposed to do that or not, but we don't have that side of things. And so that's not obviously in our pitch. Our pitch is going to be the flexibility to our avatars, to the three kind of, depending on the agent, where they're at in their business, and how we can help them get to the next level, or become a small team, or just be hands off and let them run their own ship and not be trying to call them and have them meet all these requirements and all that kind of stuff. So we let them run their own business. And a lot of times that's all they want to do, is they want to have, that's what we wanted. That's why we decided we wanted to have our own brokerage, because we didn't want people telling us, hey, you guys didn't have this form signed, we can't send you your money. So, and so we try to be hands off a little bit on that front and let these high producing agents do their thing and therefore support with the brand.
Okay. How many agents do you guys have?
5 now.
5.
Bare minimum, I think it is right now.
Okay. And then you guys have so you said that you don't really grow unless somebody goes out, next man up. So you just stay at 5 the whole time?
Pretty much, for the most part. Now we have gotten up to 11 or 12 before, and I think right at that 9 to 12 range is kind of where things really start changing when it comes to how everything is run. And that's we try to stay below that point, because that's when you've got to really hire in staff. You've got to have, back end support. And, when you have 12 agents, all doing business in a nice, healthy market. That's a lot of things moving at one time, and you've got to have support for that. So that's the range we like to stay in. I don't think 8 would be kind of where we're like, okay, that's probably good. Mm-hmm. However, I have been, since you guys invited me on here, I have looked into some of the stuff that you and Alan are doing, and looks really intriguing. So I'm not going to say that we will never go that big, because I think you guys have a amazing model that can be really helpful. And our brokerage is currently transitioning to where my dad's my partner. He's kind of retiring, flying around airplanes, riding boats, and doing his thing. So I'm running the day-to-day. We've got another franchise agreement coming up, and we're looking to the future. So, I'm very intrigued with what that has to offer, because I could see a scenario with AI and social and all the different leveraging points that are coming our way that are already here, really fitting in with what you guys are offering, and how to, kind of get that system in a methodical way to where we could do 20, 25 agents if it kind of works. So I'm not going to say we're never going to go there, because what you guys are offering is very intriguing.
All right. So I'm glad you brought up future vision. So you personally, you said your dad's kind of exiting out of the game. He's retiring. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
Yeah, in 5 years, 2 things. Well, one, I think that's our franchise agreement is our next one is up, and this year we're meeting with them, and we got a 5-year window, and then kind of have to do that again every 5 years. And the next one, I'll be running the entire thing, solo. The future that I'm seeing has a little bit the tech side. Definitely we're gonna have the AI is gonna change everything. Everyone knows that, and was talking about that. Social is a big thing that a lot of agents are being talked to about, that are having to get on board. So from a brokerage standpoint, how important that the social aspect is, not just from making a brand for the agent, but for the brokerage itself. That's something I don't think has really set in yet, but I think that might be coming. And I think transitioning into to a scenario that it does have more agents and more teams. I think the team aspect is going to be a big. Agents are going to realize that everyone is being able to leverage these tools, and they're going to grow quickly, and people are going to need their own support team within the brokerage. So I think learning the team models, helping out with agents grow their teams, and then obviously stepping away from the day-to-day transactional side of things, and maybe doing just a few investments, some commercial, and some luxury. Give me some more time to recruit, retain, and keep these agents healthy and moving forward. That's where I would love things to go.
That's the goal, right? To step back from the day-to-day, and you run the business instead of the business is running you, right? I think that's everybody's goal at the end of the day. So
absolutely,
this is where this is my favorite part of it. So if you could go back to when you became a brokerage owner, go back to your younger self and say, if I could tell myself 2 things before I did this, what would they be?
Simplicity. Keep everything as simple as it can possibly be. I think one of the mistakes that I made, I'm sure that other brokers I could see making, is they try to get too many things moving at the same time. And I think that if I could go back and tell myself, I would say, hey, keep everything as simple as possible, because when things start moving, everything gets more complicated. That would be my advice. Don't reinvent the wheel. If I could advise my other agents, we're big proponents of the franchise model, sticking to a franchise that has the tech, the support, the branding, all of those things, because that's the last thing you want to be doing when you're starting a brokerage, is trying to create an image, a brand, trying to create the education, the support, all of those ancillary things. And franchises aren't that expensive. Like, they are a tenth of what it would cost somebody to redo all the things that they already have in place. So, I would definitely promote that. And then, just keeping everything as simple as they possibly can.
What's that saying? You can be good at a lot of things, but you can only be great at one thing. Keeping it simple,
Right.
It's funny because someone brought that up. So a guy from back east that I did this with yesterday, he was really cool. He's kind of a no nonsense type of guy. And he's like, when I started my brokerage, nobody knew who I was. And that was the toughest part of building my brokerage out, was getting my name out there. People know who I am, just building that rapport within the city and all of that. It's funny because he's back east in Pennsylvania, and he actually ended up being in a town where my parents grew up, Erie, Pennsylvania, Edinburgh. I was like, this is so weird. It's
small world.
Such a small world. I was like, that is weird. Okay, one book that you would recommend, whether it's personal, business, one book you'd recommend for people to read.
Okay, so I've got.
You can give two. That's fine.
Yeah. So my from a production and real estate and business standpoint, The Slight Edge, by Greg Goldstein is the author.
Okay.
Greg Goldstein, I think it is. And that is the concept behind that is the incremental things that you do on a daily basis, that one extra phone call, the one extra email, the one extra note, compounded over time. And then it really breaks down examples how powerful that can be. And Ed Mylett and some of the great speakers always talk about people underestimate how much they can do in 5 years and overestimate what they can do in a year. And I think that book really shows you the power of consistency over time. And it blew my mind. And then the other book that I really, changed my way of looking at real estate stuff was The Multifamily Millionaire. That one was, got me into the multifamily space and really enjoying how the commercial aspect really works and from an investing side.
Okay. Well, hey, this was a really great interview. I mean, you brought a lot of knowledge, so a lot of stuff is definitely new on here because not everybody talks. It's so interesting to me that no two broker owners are the same. I mean, it's pretty cool. So you get a very wide range of stuff, and that's what we're trying to get out there, because a lot of people are new. A lot of people have never recruited before. A lot of people have never run a brokerage. They don't know where to start. Technology is another thing. A lot of people already talk about the AI is going to take over a lot of talk about virtual assistants too. So, that type of thing. But I'm glad that, we got to do this. Before we go, give a shout out to your business, whatever you want to, your socials, your webpage, everything. Go ahead.
Yep. Oh, so we are Remax-Gateway, and that's remax-gateway.com is our website. Remax Gateway Austin is on our socials. And then I'm Ask Mike Coss, AskMikeCoss. And that's on all the social medias. Ask Mike Coss. And you can just ask me. I'm an open book.
There you go. Hey, that's catchy. That's good.